Sure. So I'm actually 25 years old, so I'm about 3 years out of college. I guess it's kind of better to start with my internet journey because that was before my full-time job. So I built websites back in 2013, 2014, and it was more of those type of websites where you create 2 or 3 pages, you send a ton of backlinks, and they rank. And you made money for a couple of months, then you got penalized and you're on to the next site. Kind of stepped away from that, went to school, came out, got a full-time job. I actually work in finance. And I kind of went back to the internet marketing stuff in March. And I was like, what's going on? How can I make money here? And as you stumble across different internet marketing forums and different YouTubers, I just became intrigued by people putting out massive amounts of content and having them rank without, shady backlinks. So that was very interesting to me. I saw a journey that actually inspired me of somebody that put out like 500 articles in about a year, and they were making money just on informational content, not only focused on Amazon. So I kind of like merged the two together, put out a ton of Amazon articles, then figured, okay, now how can I gate this to like informational articles to really grow traffic?
Awesome. And did you have any big wins from like back in the day when you were building some of these early sites and doing more, I guess, shady backlinks and stuff like that?
Sure. I definitely hit a few months where I was hitting 4 or 5K a month, but it wasn't continuous. It was almost like the site would rank, I'd cash in on it for 2 or 3 months, and then it would kind of lose its rankings. And it was mostly just forwarding to either other type of affiliate websites, those survey websites where I was getting referral commission. Yeah, I mean, I had success. Nothing where it was like sustained over the long time. I always had to be building new sites. Always positive ROI, but definitely like a lot of work every month just to keep income coming in.
And I suppose you developed some pretty like good marketing chops and just building websites, some WordPress sort of skills and stuff like that. Any other like sort of broader type of skills that you learned from back in the day?
So it's interesting. I actually used to use like other platforms like Weebly, and I think WordPress was something that was new to me. So I think it's almost safe to say I kind of entered the marketing itself and building these type of websites kind of fresh. I think the only thing I had going for me was I did understand backlinks and the negative and positive sides to it. So I had a pretty open mind when it was coming to like understanding how backlinks work in 2020. I think that's maybe one thing that kind of helped me more than someone just coming in, throwing up 400 something articles and hoping it works.
Got it. Cool. So let's get into this project that you're working on now. So in March, you thought, hey, I'm going to get back into this. And you started Googling around and you saw some people publishing a ton of content. So you started this site in basically April. So in those few weeks, like what was your plan? What were you thinking? And why did the scope of this project, why was it so big, like off the bat?
Okay, so the original goal was $1,000 a month, and I said, okay, to get there, I need 100 articles. That's the goal. I published all the content on my own. I probably wrote the first 50 or so articles, and the goal was one article a day. Some days I was able to get two, but it was one article a day, and things seemed good. I was like, okay, this is going to be $1,000 a month a year from now. And I had like 2 articles ranking for like a really small keyword, getting like 3 or 4 clicks a day. And I was like, all right, I need this to go faster. Like, I need to get out more content. And everywhere I looked, it was like, hey, backlinks are great, add them to your site. But if you want the real growth, it's content. So then I was like, all right, let's get 50 articles, get to 150, or I'll get 100 articles, get to 200. And then I just kept scaling up. I did my keyword research, and I think that's what motivated me to say, okay, look, no one wrote a good article on this topic that's, more than 500 words. Here's an easy keyword to get 500 views a month. And I think that's what motivated me to say, okay, let's start scaling this up. Let's put a lot of content out there and let's see how it responds. But obviously, like the first few weeks of just getting those like 1 or 2 Amazon sales, I actually didn't realize how motivating those were. Just seeing like fruits to your labor, even though it is only a couple bucks, but it's like, okay, my website's 2 months old and it made $10. Like that's encouraging. So I think that was helpful to start out with.
Okay. And let's rewind just a tad. How did you choose the niche? I know this is an important part and you're growing this site large. You're planning on, publishing even more content. So I imagine you pick something broad enough, and I'm interested in the process of how you chose it.
Sure. So the niche I'm in is actually something I thoroughly enjoy. It is a hobby of mine. It is within the outdoor niche, and I guess I'll leave it at that. But in terms of how I picked the niche, it was almost like I gravitated towards that niche early on just because it was one of the few things I really enjoyed doing that you could build a blog about. And when I was looking at my competitors, I think that's what cemented the decision for me. I saw so many competitors that either had really small websites, I'm talking like 30, 40 posts that were all Amazon based, or I saw those massive websites that were 1,000+ articles that were big companies getting hundreds and hundreds and 500,000 page views a month. And I figured if they're doing it with lower quality content, what if I kind of push the two together? And that was the final decision for me making the site.
Okay. And sort of implicitly, I mean, I think there are plenty of informational and product keywords most of the time. It's just people may have a certain mindset. But when you started this, did you automatically see like, oh, there's a ton of info content and there's a ton of products as well?
It was funny. I started just thinking every article is going to be about Amazon, and I'm just going to have some informational content just to kind of balance the site to Google. Like the goal was probably like realistically 80% Amazon and 20% informational. So I only thought product wise, and there was obviously a lot of them. And I think at this point now, I'm probably, I want to say 85% informational.
Okay. Do you find that the informational content is quicker to rank or less competition or any observations?
So yeah, so definitely easier to rank in terms of competition, but I also just noticed those longer pieces of content, the 2,500, 3,000 word pieces, I can eventually monetize those articles for Amazon products very easily just because they're like those how-to type of guides like, oh, you need this piece of equipment or you need this type of item. So I kind of said to myself, why only focus on Amazon? Make informational content, then bring Amazon into the informational content as those articles start to shoot up the ranks.
Perfect. All right. Moving on to keywords. Obviously, if you're going to launch a site, you're going to publish all that content. How did you approach keywords? And actually, I'll leave it at that. How did you approach the keywords and finding all of these?
Yeah, so I started by Googling keywords that I thought were low competition just from my understanding of the niche. And I wrote a few articles out there and then I realized they were way more competitive than I thought. So then I started using those type of keyword tools such as Ahrefs or Uber Suggest. And I actually wound up purchasing a premium subscription at Uber Suggest just because it wasn't a lot of money a month. Like I didn't want to put that much into those type of tools, but it gave me enough knowledge to understand a little bit about the site's domain authority that I was competing with and then kind of see what keywords they were ranking. So the first batch of content, Amazon articles and informational content, was pretty much just writing a better article than what was already out there. Then I would say once I hit about 80 to 90 articles, I got the understanding of how to write an article or how to pick a topic that maybe was just not even served yet on the internet that nobody had for. And those really helped the initial growth of my website, picking a topic or an article title that just wasn't written yet, but had juice, had some search.